Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. Just getting this timing belt back together on the front of this engine, and I thought I'd show you, once again, this is mainly for the guys converting from the one-piece water pump to the two-piece, and we'll just go through a few steps getting it back together now. I've sort of got it mainly back together, but at a point where we can go through what's happened so that you don't miss anything. So once you've got the water pump back on, it's these two bolts here that go through the tensioner, that go through the water pump. That's the whole reason that assembly on the left, they had to be removed in the first place, okay? So once you've got the water pump back on, obviously that tensioner can go back on next at this side here, and the backing plate, obviously the two bolts, you'll remember from the previous video, there was two bolts in behind this backing plate on that side of the water pump. So once you've got all those bolts in, this main drive belt tensioner assembly is what goes back on. You've got that bolt there that you can see, and there's another one behind the alternator, and we've put the alternator back on. There's one main bolt through the top, and you've got the bracket at the bottom with the one main bolt at the bottom down here, okay? So the tensioner's on, the alternator's on. There's three bolts in the front, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, the two that went through the water pump. So that's that side pretty well done. This engine's out of the vehicle, which is why I thought it'd be good to show you, what it looks like, a bit easier to show you when it's out. So you would have your compressor sitting back here somewhere, and that's just got to come back over, and the 4 bolts go back into those 4 holes there. Okay, so that takes care of that side. Over this side, obviously, it's as per the timing belt videos then, putting it back together. The procedure, so that you don't have any issues, would be, you need to don't forget this insulation that goes in behind, that goes in first. The second thing is the backing plate. So you've got either nuts and bolts, there's one each side behind the pulley there. There's another one there and another one here. Little bit of RTV silicone along the bottom there. So if you've purchased the injector kit and you've got your RTV, that's another useful thing, another job you can use it on the timing belt water pump kit. You can ask for the RTV silicone if you like. With the water pump job, we'll just add that on. Once you've got the backing plate on, if your cam seal's not leaking, which they're normally not, just leave it alone. We could possibly do another video when we've actually got to change a cam seal, but at this stage we won't be including that. Backing plate's on, cam gear goes on, just sit it all in place just by hand. Put your tensioner here back on with the 2 bolts. Put your idler on with that bolt. Don't forget the washer that goes underneath the idler, it's very important. Get your timing belt on the way we've shown you in the timing belt videos, that is, with your alignment marks at the top here. You can see the arrow and the line on the belt and the arrow on the pulley there. And then if it's tight down this side of the belt, you'll see the mark that, it's hard to show you in the vehicle, but there's that mark that for the timing belt. Okay, hold that in position there. Once you've lined it at the top, held it tight, hold that in position. Then the easiest way is to slip the belt back off this top gear to get it all the way around this bottom one. And once you've got it all the way around, then you can carefully sit the belt back over the top here, sit it on that side of the tensioner, then pull the pin on this, okay? And then remember, everything was finger tight, okay? So then make sure you go over double and triple check these bolts, okay? This one's meant to be 98 Newton meters. That's a 19 mil bolt, and it's 98 Newton meters is the torque setting, okay? This one here's a 10 mil hex. I think they're 35 Newton meters, and these two 10 mils are about 13 Newton meters. You may need to hold this crankshaft with the 22 mil to stop it all from turning when you're trying to torque this up to 98 Newton meters. Okay, so I hope that helps. Once you've got all the belt on and you've double and triple checked all your marks, that's what you do once you're, yep, that mark's right, that mark's right. You've got the belt pushed far enough back, everything's in line. Yep, we've tightened up those, that they were already tight in. If you're doing a water pump, but you don't have to do that, but yep, that's done, that's done. You can double check that if you like. I don't know the torque setting, but I suppose make sure it's not loose, but factory would have done that. Yep, done that. Then your cover can go on your timing belt. Then you can, obviously this is just setting in place over the water pump. This is how we do it. We put that on, we put it in the vehicle, and we'll put the main drive belt on before we install the fan, okay? So if you try and put the belt on after the fan's on. You can do it, it's just a bit harder. We just find it easier to do that, and then just pop these nuts off. The pulley will go on a slight angle because the belt's pulling on it. That's fine. When you put the fan back on, it'll just push the pulley back in. Anyway guys, there's a short one for you. Hope that's helped explaining all that. We've got the other video explaining removing to change the one-piece water pump, mainly on the Hilux. If you want to have a look to work out whether you've got a one-piece pump or not, you should be able to look in here and see all these bolts, okay? 1, 2, 3, and they go all the way around where, okay, you've got these bolts in place on a normal water pump, but I suppose the key thing, the most obvious way to look is if you look in there, see that join there? There's like a join in right at the end of my finger there. You need to have a look and see if that looks like 2 pieces of material and it's joined with a gasket there. You could also look at the top section here. You can see that machine face in there. Okay, so this is obviously 2-piece. You won't see that gasket and that join if it's a 1-piece. It'll just be all molded as one part. Right guys, hope that's helped. Have a nice day. See ya.